A good early morning in the Caribbean Sea. We are on the north side of the Panama Canal. Yes, that's right. The Panama Canal actually runs north and south if you look at it. It's one of the many tugboats coming in to help us out. We had 8 different tugboats with us for our trip through the Panama Canal. The Atlantic Bridge marks the entrance to the north side of the canal. Ironically, when this bridge was built, there was no road. They actually built a bridge without a road, so they had to build a road to it. The bridge spans overall almost 5 kilometers from end to end. The original Gatun Locks, they're on the right side of the channel underneath the bridge. It's bidirectional, allows boats to travel upstream and downstream at the same time. Unlike the new Agua Clara Locks, which is one direction only. And in the east channel, or left side underneath the bridge, is the new Agua Clara Locks. These are the Panamax locks. And due to their size, they only allow ships to transit in one direction at a time. Here we are in the lower chamber waiting for the doors to close. Now these massive 800-ton rolling doors take about 5 minutes to close. So we'll just speed it up here a little bit. We don't need to watch the whole thing. And they put a tug at each end of the ship just to help stabilize it. And what's really interesting here on the north set of locks, there's a road over top of these lock doors. You can actually drive across them, which we'll see in just a second. And I'm not talking little cars. There goes a tour bus across. And looking down the one side of the ship here. So the Ruby Princess is 951 feet long and 118 feet wide. And the new Agua Clara Locks are 1,400 feet long and 180 feet wide. So we've got like 60 plus feet of space here on the one side. Passing from the first chamber into the second, there's a set of those rolling lock gates. They use a double gate in case one fails. They don't actually need to use both at the same time. They do, however, use them both just to keep the mechanisms working, but in the event of a failure, they can actually just close one door and allow the canal to continue to operate.
Oh yeah, sure does. No road over that one.
And tossing some ropes over. I'm not sure who's out of practice here. If it's the guys in the ship that haven't caught a line in a while, or if it's the canal guys, their accuracy just isn't there. Sorry for the drunken spin with a camera. Now he almost makes it this time, except I guess he figured he didn't have it, and the guy on shore pulls the line back, and as you can see, he catches it. Oh, it's right at the edge. And once that line's over, they pull it up, throw it around an electric winch, and they hoist the big heavy ship lines over. And the ship actually controls its position in the lock by adjusting its winches on its dock lines. A lot of background noise, too, going on here. Let's tell it's an industrial area, not a tourist place by any means. So these guys will throw that aisle up over top of the bollard there, and the ship's crew down below, they'll run the winch, tighten that line up, and they do the same thing on the other side of the ship, too, to help maintain its position in the lock as the water changes. one of the fire boats out. They're actually not training or anything. They're blowing water on the deck of the tugboat. It was about 40 degrees Celsius the day we were going through the canal, so imagine that steel deck gets pretty warm, so they blow water around to actually cool the deck off and just help the ship stay cool and the deck crews outside so they're not walking on hot steel all the time. Now, once we were up on anchor in Gatun Lake, they dropped some of the tenders down for shore excursions. Here's one of the tenders going down now. Of course, that's 4 times speed. They do not come down that fast, don't worry. And there we go, there's real time now speed. You see them slowly pulling away. The ship's got a dock that actually folds down out of the side of it. It's nice. They just, so everybody can get on board without any issues. One of the many other ships coming up the Gatun Locks on the other side. It's a big new car carrier. And this is a Panamax MSC cargo container. Something like 2,700 40-foot cargo containers on board that ship right there from what they were telling us. Yeah, another tugboat spraying the deck down, trying to cool things off for the crew. Now, Gatun Lake is freshwater, so there's no need to worry about salt getting all over the deck there. This is us heading back down through the locks. We're in the second chamber here. So now each chamber raises 24 feet, evenly split across the 3.
Nope.
And there's basins just kind of off there. You can see that on the right side of the picture in the distance behind the white buildings. There's 3 big basins they have that actually captures water. The new locks actually use 60% less water than the older locks, but are substantially bigger. So that's the Panama Canal. It was pretty cool, actually. It's 8 minutes where the video really doesn't show how great of an experience it was. Transit times in the locks were about 2 hours, upbound and downbound. Now, if you're curious what this trip costs for a ship of this size, they were telling us a few days before, because we're doing it up and back, we were actually considered a 2-way travel, because we took a slot for a southbound trip and a northbound trip, and it was $429,000 US for our cruise ship to go up and come back. Breaks out, it was about $129 a person based on the 3,000 or so people they said were on board. And for 129 bucks, it was a pretty amazing experience. I strongly recommend, if you ever get a chance, give it a try. You'll enjoy it. That's the Atlantic Bridge. And you know, I'm going to look that up because I'm not sure if that's actually the name of it. It's just what the tour commentator called it. I'm sure it may have some other name. But Bridge of the Atlantic, we're on our way back to the Caribbean Sea. Heading northbound, technically, because the Panama Canal runs north and south, not east and west like most people would think. Yeah, went up the Agua Clara Locks, or the Clara Water Lock, if you want to translate that, up into Gatun Lake, hung out there for a couple hours, and came back down. Saw all kinds of massive cargo ships up there, so I got all kinds of video on that. Just come in underneath the bridge. Not as close and as tight as we were when we did the Lionsgate in Vancouver last year. I'll put that video up here in the description at the end if you want to check that out. We had lots of clearance here. Lionsgate, I think we only cleared that by 2.5 meters. Maybe it was less, but hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a like, subscribe, and we are not done here yet. We're on our way to Costa Rica. It took me a minute to remember where we're going. We're going to do some a gondola through the rainforest in Costa Rica, and we're off to Grand Cayman, then back to Florida. Fingers crossed, if everything works out right, we're going up the coast to NASA, and we're going to see a SpaceX Heavy launch. So stick around. Thanks for watching. Hey, remember all those people that got off the ship in the tenders up in Gatun Lake? Well, they had to get back on somehow, so we pulled into the port of Cologne, the north side of the canal, and clearly you don't get a lot of cruise ships into Cologne, as the shipwrights that were working on this ship next to us, everybody stopped to take a look at this big white cruise ship that was pulling in next to them. And with a salute from the Port Authority, we say goodbye to Cologne, and we will see you next time.